Lions TV, this is your post-match analysis video for last night's absolutely chaotic 2-2 draw on the road against Swansea City. To do that twice in 4 days shows real grit, determination and Millwall character. And I'm the first one, before I even get into the starting 11, to criticise Rowett. I said we don't get the great memories under him and the big nights. And although it was only a draw, to do what we've done twice in 3 days is absolute chaos. It was brilliant. So look, if you ask for something, don't then complain when you get it, because I'll be the first one to say I'm bored of 0-0 draws. It's not entertaining. I want to be entertained for my money. And the emotions and the ups and downs I've felt in the last 4 or 5 days alone have been absolutely unbelievable. I'd take them over 0-0s all day long. Let's get into the starting 11 that the gaffer picked to start the match. Okay, so I'm going to say this as well. Lately, I'll get some stuff wrong, but I think lately I've got quite a lot right. Starting with the Coventry result, I said we'd come from behind and win the game. I wasn't expecting us to do it in the emphatic fashion that we did. And also last night I said we'd draw on the road at Swansea. Okay, it's 2-2. I'm also pointing towards as well, not just results I picked, but starting 11s. Of course, there is a case in football and one of the oldest scenarios in the books that you don't change a winning side. However, Rowett did allude to he'd make changes last night, and I think he would have been forgiven by the fans if we didn't get the result. That he had have changed the back three that have let in early goals, 2 early goals as well, against Sheffield United and then against Coventry. He didn't, he only went with one change, and that was Mason Bennett injured and out, and Tyler Bury started up front, and Andreas Volasama, of course, come on to make his debut, and I'll get into that later, but he was on the bench, so more firepower added, and that's good news with Bradshaw, Bennett and Fleming all still on the sidelines. I said he should have changed it, and I stand by that. He absolutely should have changed it, and I'm sure on reflection and on the back of some fantastic late performances from Ryan Leonard especially, they have to start now against Norwich on Friday. Norwich finally found their form and they got their first win of the season last night, and we haven't won at Carrow Road in 65 years. So not an easy place to go, as we know. But we'll move on to that game tomorrow in a preview. We're going to talk now about the Swansea match. After Saturday, surely Rowett would have said, look, we cannot afford to start slow. As I said, we've done it against Sheffield United and we've done it against Coventry. We can't afford to do that away from home without the cauldron, the bubbling cauldron, the atmosphere of the Den. And we did even earlier, 57 seconds, I think, we conceded the first goal. I've made some notes today. I've watched the extended highlights on Millwall TV. So I'm going to pick through individual points in the game because I thought they was pivotal. I felt that was important. And I don't want to dig out certain players or praise certain players because, again, they're all accountable with this early goals. You know, manager picks the team, yes, but the defender should know how to defend. We haven't defended from the front, and I'm not even talking about midfield here, by the way, but I'll get into that. Look, the first goal, 57 seconds, ball's in Swansea's possession, Billy Mitchell wins it back, knocks it to Murray Wallace, he takes a heavy touch, loses the ball goes in the air, Billy Mitchell tries to win it back again, doesn't manage to win the header, Cooper has a flap at it, Murray Wallace then has another flap out with a header. Scott Malone sort of knocks it across the box, and Danny Mack gets pulled in, which wasn't his fault. He comes across to cover Creswell, because if you watch it back, and believe me, I watched it back about 10 times, you can see Cooper, he sort of got his, I'll put my finger there so I won't go out of shot. He put his finger there and he was saying to Creswell, your man, not keep an eye on him. Cooper goes to win the ball, no issue with that. If you watch Creswell again, he's absolutely ball watching. And he doesn't follow his man, and that's how Danny Mack ends up with 2 players. One squares into the other. It's a good finish across Bulkowski, and we're 1-0 down. I don't want to make it about these Leeds loanees, right? They're good young players. We're pleased we got them. However, neither of them are anywhere near as good as a lot of you think they are. Creswell especially. And he's not on the same planet as Ballard was. I'm sorry, defensively. He just isn't. Yes, and people go, you called him Champagne Charlie Creswell, Mer. Of course I did. Listen, I'm a presenter. I try and make my shows exciting. And the first game of the season, he scored 2 goals, kept a clean sheet. So of course I'm going to lead with that. Champagne Charlie Creswell. But since then, he has been absolutely horrendous. He really, really has. And he's cost us a lot of goals. And look, he weren't solely to blame for the first goal last night. It was a culmination of things right across the defence. You can point a finger at Murray Wallace for giving the ball away. Even Jake Cooper for not properly going in. But on the whole, Murray Wallace again with a weak header, and then Scott Malone accountable as well as Creswell for that first goal. So I don't understand these Leeds loanees, how they're getting such a free run when you've got Saville, Leonard and Hutchinson, our club captain, all on the bench, all experienced professionals, all have played hundreds of games, not just in football, But for our football club, I think I looked at it earlier on Wikipedia, something like 400 plus games between them for our club. I don't know how they can't get in the side. As I said, surely on the back of that second half showing, they will get in the side. Getting back to the game, the second chance, they sort of danced through us in front of our box, shot from distance. Bart saves it. The big man's brilliant. He was brilliant again last night. Kept us in it, but he's got to do better there. If you parry it, you've got to parry it away from danger. And he puts it straight back in the mix. And how the Swansea striker hasn't put them 2-0 up at that point, I honestly do not know. After that, we go up the other end. It's a great ball in from Mitchell, left-footed, sort of, I was going to say, headed it back across by Tyler Bury. Makes a complete hash of it, and it falls to Aphobia, shows good feet, lays it off to Shackleton. Shackleton shot, cannons back off the bar, and you think, all right, we're going to try and get our way back into this now. Slow start, yes. We've come accustomed to those slow starts over recent week, although we do need to definitely learn to somehow eradicate them. I'm not sure. Maybe get them out fucking early for a warm-up or something. I'm not sure. But they're not switching on early enough, and teams will notice that now, and they will highlight it and try and go for it. Listen, Millwall start slow. Let's go for the jugular early. It will happen again at Norwich on Friday, and we've got to make sure that doesn't happen, because can you imagine if we didn't have slow starts? We'd be absolutely flying now at this point. Second goal comes, and it's... People saying they're piling through our midfield. They're definitely piling through the middle of the pitch. But again, I've watched it back, and Benik Afobe has been getting a little bit of shit lately for not scoring goals. I defend him on that basis because he's not been given the chances. However, you have to defend from the front, and he didn't do it. And their centre-back literally walks through the middle of where Afobe should be, strolls past George Honeyman, and then slots it in to the striker on the edge of the box and turns Cooper inside out. Again, if Cooper's got his back to goal, in the centre of goal, on the edge of the box, and he's got a strong striker running at him who's got quick feet, there's only so much Cooper can do there. No one doubled up, no one tried to get around and help him, and before you know it, Swansea are 2-0 up. So we go in at half-time, of course, 2-0 down and not looking good on the road. Swansea looking for their first home win, big crowd for them. And as I said, we didn't have the cauldron of the den of the fans, on our back, if you like, as well as trying to get behind the team to rectify it. We're winning 2-1 down against Coventry. We've gone in 2-0 down against Swansea, who are a good side, by the way. Popped it around lovely. I do expect them to be there or thereabouts if they can sort out their defensive issues, which I did say in my preview. They do have little mistakes at the back, which we saw twice in injury time last night. So I was expecting changes at half-time. I was expecting changes at half-time against Sheffield United. Not so much Coventry. But when he didn't change anything at half-time last night, I was really, really surprised. But again, made changes late against Coventry, won the game. Made changes about after an hour last night, got back into the game. So maybe Rowett isn't pointing fingers, maybe he's believing in the players and saying, okay, look, what's happened's happened. I'm not happy. Clearly, he wouldn't have been fucking happy. But we'll rectify this. I've got the players on the pitch to sort it. And we will sort it. And we come out the second half. We was a lot better, yes. But I will refer back to what I say against Coventry and against Sheffield United. They didn't need to come out in the second half. We did. If you've got a 2-0 cushion at home, you can afford to sit back. And if you defend right and defend well, as Sheffield United showed us, you won't get anything out of the game. However, we start on the front foot. Billy Mitchell comes through the middle. His shot, I still can't work out whether that got a slight deflection. But he sort of loops over their keeper. He gets back, pushes it over the bar. And we're sort of at that point, right, here we go. We're going to be on the front foot. But it was a complete polar opposite. Swansea got hold of the game again. They come at us and we've got the big man between the sticks to thank for some fantastic saves. One from distance from Joe Allen is a really good one. And I think the one which was the straw that broke the camel's back is when they flew through the middle, passing it across the lines and through lines. And the striker from the edge of the box probably should have done better. Forces another save from Bolkowski and it goes out for a corner. I might have this next one wrong, but I think it's at that point that he makes the substitutions before we've scored any goals. I'm pretty sure it is. And we've had any penalty appeals. We had 2 in the game we're going to get onto. But then he brings on Hutchinson, Saville and Leonard. And they was very like-for-like substitutions. They wasn't attacking substitutions. We did see Volslammer come on not too long after those 3. But I think at that point, I'm sitting there a little bit, pissed off because we're losing, but a little bit, all right, a little bit smug because this is the team that I said we should have started the match with. And at that point, with the 3 subs on, we was only 1 away from that, which would have been Cooper staying on, Malone out the side, Murray Wallace left wing back, and he's got to start something near that. And I really hope this time, second time round, he has learnt his lesson. We haven't won the game, although it's been an amazing fucking comeback again. He needs to learn a lesson here. So those 3 come on, we look a lot more stable, we look a lot more experienced. We've got to grips with the occasion a bit more because I feel with a lot of youngsters on the pitch and players we've had you know, it can get a little bit intense for them. I just feel they brought a real calmness to the side when they come on the pitch, the other three, and we start to turn the wheel. First penalty appeal, it's an outright penalty. Malone clips one up, headed on. I think, I can't remember, it was by Murray Wallace, and then Honeyman fires it across the keeper. Now, the rules of the game are, unless you make an unnatural movement towards the ball with your arm, i.e. if your hands are down, it's not a penalty. However, the guy's fucking dive like he's going down an aqua zoom on holiday, and he's literally shuttled down like that. But as it's come there, he has moved his hands down deliberately, and he parries it. It's a blatant penalty. It's not given. It was difficult for the referee to see. Shouldn't have been so difficult for the linesman on their left back to have seen. And their guy knows he's done it because he goes down and goes, oh, look, gives it exactly what Hamer did against us on Saturday with Coventry. Starts holding his face because he knows he's done a wrong and gets away with one. After that, second penalty appeal. This one for me, George Saville strikes it. He sort of puts his body in the way of the guy. He does keep his arms down. Hits him on the underside of the arse. Hits the ground. And then as he falls, his arm goes on it. Not sure where I stand on that one. Not convinced that one was a penalty. However, the first one definitely was. But look, it ended up not fucking mattering in the end, did it? Because we kept pressing, and eventually we got the breakthrough. That was just after, of course, Vol Slammer came off the bench. Brilliant ball in the channel from George Honeyman, and Vol Slammer beats the keeper to it, but the way he clips it first time, controlled, manages to strike it nicely over the keeper, hits the top of the bar. And I was really pleased with it. I'd definitely be interested in having him start against Norwich on Friday. Definitely up front, and I'll stick Bury in a 10. But I'll save that for the preview tomorrow. Let's talk about the first goal. It was coming, wasn't it? When you look back on reflection now, I thought it was a dead and buried game. But on reflection, and seeing the extended highlights again this morning, we actually had plenty of chances in that second half. As I said, Billy Mitchell's had one tipped over the bar. Vol Slammer's hit the bar, 2 penalty appeals, and eventually the breakthrough comes in unlikely fashion for them, but obviously the trend of the game followed because they scored 2 fucking own goals. Honeyman wide, Danny Mack gets a good ball across the box. The first defender slides in, he actually misses it. The defender behind him hits him on the knee, flies past their keeper. At this point, it's like 90 plus 3 or 4, even 5. I don't know, but I know there was a minute and a half left, and it's just a complete fucking chaotic turnaround. We go forward again. Corner comes in, goes back out. Scott Malone gets it, and I've criticised Scott Malone, and people say, well, he sets up loads of goals. Well, that's because he takes dead ball situations. This one wasn't a dead ball situation. It was a second instance from a corner, right foot across. I don't want to say miss-hit that cross, but it's, you know, because we scored a goal. Bury comes in at the back post, and their defender, he surely just got to try and flick that on, or even just get across Bury and leave it. He actually wraps his head round it to head it back in the near post, and it's absolute fucking pandemonium. Like I said at the start of the video, and I'll say it again, I am the first one to say this is fucking boring under out. I'm bored to tears. It's no good. I want to be entertained for my money. This is it. That's entertainment, kids. It's fucking been absolutely outrageous the last 2 games. I'm fucking running around here like in a lunatic. I'm sure a lot of you were as well. And the highs and lows, man. How can you fucking not like football, mate, honestly? Never trust a man that doesn't like football or alcohol. That's my mantra in life. Women, all for you, like him both as well. But if a man doesn't like it, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is up with you? What are you doing with your life? Absolutely unbelievable scenes. And we will take a lot from that. Yes, we take a point from it. And I said before the game, I'd absolutely take 2 points against Swansea on Norwich. All right, we started shit. And we do need to rectify this issue of letting in early goals. But fucking hell, wouldn't you rather that finish? Wouldn't you rather concede 2? It's like the friendly against Crystal Palace. I'd rather concede 5 and score 4. We're like fucking Newcastle in the 90s under Kevin Keegan all of a sudden. Well, we're not that good, but look, we're there and thereabouts. We're difficult to beat. We show real resilience, and Millwall needs to come back into it again. And listen, there you go. No words can sum it up. There you go. That one's for Gary Rowett and the players. And I just feel now that everyone needs to try and get to Norwich. I know it's on the telly. I'm not even sure if I'm going yet because I'm supposed to be going to my boss's wedding. Sorry, Gaffer, if you're watching, I feel like duty calls. You know, it's been fucking unbelievable. And not many teams would have that about them. To come back twice from the dead within 4 days, honestly, I'm just going to end it with this one again. Well done to the boys. Well done to the Gaffer. So that's your lot for this post-match analysis video. Let's listen, I'm fucking loving doing videos at the minute. I know we've conceded fucking 4 goals in 2 games, but we scored 5 and we've got 4 points out of those. So let's not worry about it too much. It could happen again Friday at Norwich. If it does, it does. But honestly, I've just got this newfound confidence, and it was even good last night to see fucking Rowett. Like, I've never seen him that animated, and he was fucking in amongst the bundle. It's all going mental. It's all trending. It's all viral everywhere. Some of our fans, I actually know that fella, Tyler Podmore. He left the ground early, and they're all outside celebrating. Just fucking brilliant, brilliant memories that will live long in the memories. And you can't knock it. You can't knock it. If you're like me and you've moaned about Rowett, about being fucking boring, ball draws, and all this shit, there you go. There's your fucking entertainment you've been asking for. I'll be back tomorrow for a preview for Carrow Road on Friday. Can we break our 65-year duck at Norwich? Nearly forgot what it was called then. Please subscribe to Lions TV. There's one more ripple. Come on, you Lions.